Hey everyone, this podcast is coming to you from the Psychic Dolphin Garage. You can support this show and our larger efforts to build a leftist community through podcasting and other projects over at patreon.com/Psychic Dolphin Garage. That's patreon.com/PSYCHICDOLPHIN Garage, which is spelled how it sounds. So as a lot of different countries are trying to figure out how to handle their entire population being put in quarantine, I think it's pretty dope once again on the French's part that instead of asking questions to the police with complete and total bullshit like, oh, how can I get toilet paper, or oh man, my heart monitor stopped, please help me, instead the French are calling up their police with questions like, can my husband see his mistress during the quarantine? And I really think that it raises the bar for all of us in the United States.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, France has already put us to shame just in terms of, like, when they get fucked, they actually do something, and we just continue to kiss the cops square on the lips. So I think this kind of big dick energy France is bringing in the quarantine is pretty impressive.
I mean, it's time, right? Like, the French had these massive big dick energy vibes going off in the 19-teens and through the 1940s.
Uh-huh.
So I think, once again, the French people, they're rising to the occasion. If history is cyclic, it probably isn't going to end up super well for the French, but in the here and now, life is going pretty peachy for them.
Yeah.
Well, peachy, you just triggered so many horny people at home. They're now furiously jacking it, much like the French definitely are.
As long as they're still listening to the podcast while they're jacking it, fine by me. I mean, you do you, folks.
Yeah, don't fuck with our analytics. The podcast stays on during sex.
I was gonna read this comment, this wonderful comment. I'm gonna do my Alex voice again this week because I had a bunch of fun doing that. Actually, there are no capitals, so I don't need to do the Alex voice. But the best quote on this is
this what the podcast is now? Just impressions of other podcasts?
Yes. Why you not let him visit and get himself a nice dripper herpes, SIFILIS, and also Corona, while you get divorced him and start a new independent life with many laughs and no more ironing his shirts.
And this was in French?
No, this isn't in English. I wish I could read French. The French alphabet really.
What I'm just asking, where did you see this request? Or
this is a comment on the news article.
On the actual news article itself. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well then, that halfway explains some of the translational issues, I suppose. But
yeah. So as we know, the French are notoriously the best lovers, which also means they're the horniest because being a lover is about how much sex you have, not about how romantically well partnered you are, or how well you communicate with your partner on an interpersonal level.
It's just raw horniness. That's all that matters. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they say. That's why, you stand by this, okay? The horny 14-year-olds online, they clearly fuck the best. All right? That is the official stance of the Psychic Dolphin Garage podcast.
Absolutely.
Yes, all three of us, legally binding. Yes, that is what we are saying.
And as we know, France good, Saudi Arabia bad, as shown by the very anti-horny takes.
Anti-horny. That's one way to put it. I view it as woke feminist king Saudi cleric who
literal kings in that country also should be pointed out.
Yes, a gentleman by the name of Abdullah Muhammad al-Mutlaq, who said that wives can refuse sexual advances from husbands during coronavirus quarantine, which, I mean...
Like, this is... You know what? I'm going to say it. That the Muslim religion is better than the Christian religion.
Yeah. Wow. A bold take that the majority of the world now agrees with you on, so...
The majority of the world is also Muslim, so like, where's the Muslim majority in America, I ask?
Can you imagine just a bunch of rednecks from Texas just being like, agreed, inshallah,
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelton.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Bo.
And welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. This week it is just the boys in the garage, and this is going to be a podcast Classico kind of episode. It's just the three of us, but we got a big announcement to make before we get things started off, before we do our regular spiel that y'all just immediately click forward onto. That's right, we look at the analytics, we're on to you. We are officially state delegates, bitches. Electoralism is alive and well on this podcast, apparently. Yeah, we have somehow all found a way to get onto the Texas Democratic Convention as representatives from our various areas. And so we're going to be swarming there in June. So be on the lookout for any sweet content we're able to glean out of that experience.
Yeah. I can't wait to participate in, another election cycle and make sure that my voice is heard by the people that we elect to represent us in our wonderful, effective representation system. In our representative democracy.
Yeah, I mean the system works. Okay, that's all that we have to really think about.
If it was good enough for George Washington and good enough for Thomas Jefferson, also a rapist, then it's good enough for Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Also rapists.
I mean, at this point, it's a requirement.
I was going to say.
So I don't think that we should be,
It's really what the founding fathers would have wanted.
Yeah, it's unspoken the same way that we don't speak about Jeffrey Epstein anymore.
Yep.
Pour one out to a real one, Jeffrey Epstein. That's going to really go well with the 14-year-old joke, huh? This is going to be a fun thing. You know that the system works, at least in Texas, when our entire population votes, and it all gets boiled down to less than 12,000 people, actually just barely over 11,000 people qualifying to then make it as state delegates all the way through. And then who knows how many people will actually end up showing up to the state convention to then work on actual resolutions. And then who knows among that smaller fraction who then actually cares enough to be trying to put in legislation. We're going to find out, and I'm sure the answers won't at all be soul-crushing and depressing whatsoever.
Yeah, really, I'm just hoping that we're able to Zoom it.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone tells me vote blue no matter who after this, I am going to outlib them. I'm going to say, well, have you been a state delegate? Have you gone on the resolutions floor? I didn't think so. I guess you don't actually believe in participating in democracy.
Technically, I mean, now that, we are blue in that sense, they have to vote for us, so...
Yes, that is true.
I'm running on a free weed, free hentai platform, and you gotta fucking vote for me. Your 50-year-old substitute teacher, aunt who's like absolutely terrible and is somehow still a huge Kamala Harris fan has to vote for me, the weed and hentai guy.
You guys are both in favor of overly attractive, big-tittied women. I agree. There we go. See? Unity across the board.
It's all about finding that common ground, yeah.
See, we're already becoming politicians 3 seconds into this notification. Oh, God. The nenext episode, we're just going to sound like the pod save people, being like, maybe we should have retracted a few of our jokes from earlier when we declared that Saudi Arabia would be okay with fucking minors or whatever the hell we actually said. I don't remember. But to move on to the other things and the other important celebrations that we're pushing to, on Reddit, we are almost to 4,000. So just thank you in advance to everyone. Ideally, by the time that the next episode airs, we will be crossing 4,000. If not, please join the Reddit so that way then we actually can. That would be really cool.
Yeah, make us look like assholes by making this out of date immediately, please.
please. I would legitimately enjoy nothing more. Then on Discord, as always, please join that. There's always fun stuff happening there. One fun thing that y'all probably just missed out on, if you weren't already aware, is that we are starting to do Monday movie nights in the Discord, just to kind of, I guess, we don't have anything better to do. Is that too honest an opinion? Is that a little too on the nose there?
I mean, who does have anything to better to do these days? Like,
Yeah, besides Bo, because Bo has Death
Yeah.
Stranding.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm having sex, but
In Death Stranding.
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's me putting my Minecraft bed next to other people's Minecraft beds, but it counts. I'm going to hell either way. So
Yeah. So unfortunately, y'all didn't quite make the cut this week for that. But then please join us every Monday night, as usual, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, because that is the one thing we are consistent about. Okay. We may release the episodes at certain points in time. We may have varying levels and quality, but all of our streaming activities will take place at 8 p.m. That is the
Probably.
PDG promise. There we go. Then finally, our 5-star, 1-star. So please rate us 5 stars. That's always helpful. But then more importantly, rate a Right Wing Podcast 1 star. That's going to be the thing that really does the most good in this world. We also have 2 new reviews. Would either of y'all mind reading one each, please?
Yeah, Zach, I'll let you take the first one here.
I'm gonna read both of them, Bo. I just want you to know.
Okay, all right.
You're gonna have to fight for it, Bo.
Let's see if he can pronounce both reviews. No edits, no filter.
Our first review is, quote, 10 out of 10, just the right amount of psychic dolphins. Came for Zach and Kelton, came twice for the leftist views, from Rufus
All right.
Mueller.
All right, Rufus. Putting a lot of weight on my shoulders, man.
Yeah, Bo, you're going to work twice as hard to make him come, because we already did it twice. And it's half as hard the first time, then twice as hard the second time.
It's
And
like
then-
a stick that keeps on getting broken in half, only it's a dick that you're trying to
It's
get harder.
exponentially tougher, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, unless it's a 3-nut podcast, I just don't go back and listen again. So we gotta get those numbers up. Those numbers up. I apologize.
If you guys are gonna rate us now, we ask you to not do it on a scale of 1 to 10, but to do it on a scale of how many nuts you can slam out while you're listening. So, Bo, you go ahead and read the next one.
Alrighty. The most amazing thing. This podcast will take what you know and flip it, and then take your now empty brain and fill it with leftist creamy goodness. And I am not just talking about Bo's Weekend. Undead Comrade. There we go. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Undead Comrade. Thank you. We appreciate it.
All the creamy goodness from our brains to yours.
Yeah, I think mostly Undead Comrade is talking about the food channel in our Discord. So I'm going to be hoping and praying that is what is actually going to be discussed, and not
the creamy goodness in the food channel.
Yeah, yuck. But it's been really fun to see the community. I mean, just
yes, thank
growing
you, folks.
just growing as always, but also, I mean, to see everyone interacting with each other, especially in these times, because I know how isolating and how distancing all of this can feel, the incredible amounts of depression and the feeling of helplessness. But
and to make sure that we can continue to grow such an amazing community, we're gonna institute a new program. It's gonna be called policing your community. We're gonna be creating a secret police force of
in the
snitches.
Discord, or
a group of snitches that will be distributed throughout the various social media.
No. We can't call them snitches. Okay, we will call them a vanguard. Okay, that way then
There
it
you
becomes
go.
appropriate for us.
That's right. Sorry, a vanguard that will be distributed throughout the various social media accounts that we have to keep an eye on everyone, make sure that everyone is being a good comrade, and to report back whenever there is suspicious behavior, activity, or questionable beliefs being bandied about.
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Capitalist Party? Is going to be a DM that you should be expecting from each of us. But did y'all see, by the way, in the news that a court had to tell some cops that someone asserting their rights isn't an example of being reasonably suspicious?
Yeah, when someone asserts their rights, in our Discord, it will be reasonably suspicious.
Yeah,
Much like it was reasonably suspicious to these wonderful community members that put their lives on the line to protect us, even though the Line SJW courts in Louisiana Second Circuit Court of Appeals, of course it was motherfucking Louisiana.
Didn't we already do this bit last week?
Zach has taken Blue No Matter Who to an all new level.
Blue no matter who, I'm telling you, blue in the face.
It is really cool, though, that this is happening in Louisiana, which actually is based on French law as opposed to our cucked Anglo-Saxon based laws, which once again proving French superiority. Can I become like a French supremacist? Is that like what this is happening to? Like,
I mean, the French certainly are.
Les Miserables really deserves another shot as a movie overall. That's the movie we should be watching in the Discord just every day.
I love watching Wolverine sing. Yeah.
Norman, dirty Norman law.
Just turning our NSFW chat into all-time French posting every day. It's
yikes. The dirty Normans, not Mormons, mind you. That was a different episode, but the dirty Normans, trying to pull over people. I mean, the stop culminated in what, like a methamphetamine charge.
Okay, listen, like it's not who the people were; it's the principle of the matter.
It's also the fact that they have like dash cam footage and body cam footage, and like the cops literally just stereotyped these people and found something, a baggie, which maybe he had something in there, maybe he didn't, and so they lied about having to find all this stuff. Like it's clearly an abuse of power, and it's clearly cops being fucking cops.
Doing cop shit,
doing cop shit, lying about everything. And
if only, though, there was like a study that had recently been done that talked about how the police were more likely to provoke protesters and other groups, and more likely than not, they are the aggressors in a social situation. That would be like incredibly helpful for this specific instance, but I don't think there's anything like that exists. Now, excuse me, I'm going to take a real long, big sip of water here. What was that article you were talking about, though, Bo?
Well, yeah, I'm really glad that we needed a study to finally like acknowledge this.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's the thing about all cops being bastards. You got to drill into each individual thing of like, oh yeah, they suck in this way too. Like, oh, there's a way you thought that maybe they were like human. No, they suck in this way too.
And it's cops all around the world. So it's not something that then is entirely just racial or entirely financial or entirely sociological. Although all of those play incredibly important factors, it's the overall institution that is a over-militarized police force that is viewed as separate from the community that then it is a part of. Then, of course, they are going to develop this us versus them mentality and create this unique brotherhood identity, which, what's that other group, the something brotherhood? Those guys are usually pretty peaceful, right?
Yeah. No, and not to mention, too, this is something that it inevitably comes back to, the kind of person who goes out and says, yes, I'm going to become a police officer in the first place. I mean, of course, I'm sure some of them they have their best interests at heart, or the community's best interests at heart, fucking whatever.
Some of them, I assume, are good people.
But, the fucking vast majority of them are, like, I don't know. I ran out of words.
If your worldview lets you think that you can go be a cop and you can change the system for the better, and that you can serve some people, like you're ignoring everything that has ever been done by a police officer in the history of the United States. And it's also,
but I really like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though, Zach.
Okay, but if you're, like I said, though, if you're the type of person that thinks you can do that, like there's no rigorous framework that you will possess which will help you make a decision on a case-by-case basis and prevent you from sliding further and further into the brainwashing that they initiate in their cult. Cops are a cult.
But Zach, what if I wanted to work at a job as a good leftist that has a strong union backing them up. And that's the reason I joined, to be a police officer.
I'd say talk to the DSA about that, but
I mean, how do the 3%ers exist like without real interference?
Yeah. I mean, if it's not interference, it's integration, right? That's the they're complicit
True.
in this. So
Yeah.
oh well, the only thing that we can do, I guess, is just start 3D printing guns like the people that we're supposed to be, right?
yeah, absolutely.
There was that video that was circling around on Twitter. I think it was called the FGC-9. It's like a pretty cool looking weapon.
It's very GoldenEye. Yeah, it's nice.
I cannot wait to 360 no scope in Minecraft.
It's a really cool looking gun. Looks like a pistol.
Go on.
/ submachine gun. I think it uses off the counter parts, such as like stock bolt carrier, magazine, pistol grip, trigger group, all that stuff. It uses really standard parts, and it's basically put together with held together with specific 3D printed parts. And unless they regulate all gun parts at this point, they're not going to be able to stop people from getting weapons, which is good, right?
I mean, that's certainly kind of the point of what they were talking about. Because, I mean, like, although you may not be able to get physical ammo or, like, maybe the magazines, those are generic enough, at least to my understanding of what it uses, that then you would just have to pull a complete Beto O'Rourke and take away every gun everywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're already reloading your ammunition, then as long as you have access to gunpowder, that's all you really need essentially. And what is gunpowder but some really common chemicals? Like, what are they gonna
piss?
Go back to go back to the one.
That's the real reason gamers are drinking Monsters, to make their piss that much more acidic.
Oh no!
Like,
Yep.
I'm helping the revolution. That's my
chemistry,
cause.
babes.
Yeah. I don't order White Monster. I don't drink White Monster with every meal just because I'm addicted to it, Mom. Okay, this is for something. This is not me.
This is for the greater good. Yeah, exactly.
Just now picturing all of us with our 3D printed guns and walls full and completely covered, stacked to the ceiling with gallons of piss. Just like, I'm preparing for the apocalypse the only way I know how. What are you gonna do? Gonna turn this into gunpowder? Why? I mean, we talked about that on the podcast once. I assumed Zach was being serious. So, really hoping I don't come out looking foolish.
Look, my bunker is the piss bunker. Zach has the food bunker. Bo has the gaming bunker. But
there you go.
I have the most important job of them all. I piss.
Yeah, that's right. They hand me their gallons full of piss, and I hold on to it. And they say that I'm doing the most important job. So
yeah,
really,
after the revolution, like we just tie you up and we hook you up to massive IV bags of.
All right, this
fluid.
is quickly becoming just fanfic fetish stuff. So yeah,
we put you on a big frame in the town center, and then we just wire you up so that you just drip piss like a prophet. And then everybody just comes and brings their bucket in the morning to collect their ration of piss for gunpowder. We start amping up the fetish part of it. We just put a mask on you, and then like we upgrade the cuffs.
Yeah, the CDC says that we actually need to be wearing masks the entire time.
They didn't say what kind of mask. Let me go get my GIMP suit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird to think though that in this tumultuous time, we have to make sure that we have our 3D printed guns and our black bloc masks.
Yeah, the CDC said mask the fuck up.
Can you imagine if the CDC, like, its last tweet is "better be strapped"? Like, that's all. It said. Just
This account has been deactivated. Wait, what the fuck?
Oh, this definitely is not a good sign. I'm not sure what it is, but
Why does this coincide with President Trump taking a convertible top-down ride through Dealey Plaza? What could it mean?
Yeah, I do wonder though if, as now state delegates, if that was going to be our attire walking in, just black bloc masks with guns, because
It'd be something, that's for sure.
I mean, in a lot of places in Texas, you can open carry, and so I would be curious to see
what the vibe is? Yeah.
exactly. Just like real chill the entire time, I'm sure.
Definitely the word for it. Yep.
And you're with who now? Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. We're definitely on the list.
The very normal and regular Psychic Dolphin Caucus.
If they won't let us be delegates in that attire, at the very least, I think we can suggest that people dress up, cosplay, if you will. Tell your boss that you're cosplaying as this, and that's why you're dressed up like that, to negotiate with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
To try and fight for better wages right now. I mean, like, you're probably going to get fired anyway for going on strike, so might as well do it with some panache.
Yeah, there's no upside to the Amazon situation, except that unless Tesla made definitely not a gun and started delivering that.
I mean, yeah, that would be the Comrade Musk story.
Are we going to talk about Comrade Musk, or is that the only mention that he gets in this episode?
Oh, no.
Giving out his definitely not just sleep apnea machines to fight coronavirus. That still fucking tickles me so much. He is such a just dumb person.
Yeah.
Like, people are dying, of course, because of his negligence, and any billionaire really could be doing literally the least they could do to fucking help this crisis, but the fact that he's trying to help and failing at it is a million times funnier.
Yeah, the fact that other auto manufacturers are saying, well, I mean, we'll just switch our factory line over and we'll start mass producing ventilators if that's what's needed. And then Musk says that, well, I mean, he'll just buy some things. He'll buy some ventilators
Yeah.
and give them to people rather than, actually switching up production. It's almost like he's really tied in to whatever arrangement deal he got from those mysterious investors 2 quarters ago, and he realizes that he is financially tied to whatever fate they decide to inflict on him, and that's his main concern, not actually trying to be the wonder child of the moment.
Hey, he had to fucking pay a lot of money to get on the episode of Rick and Morty, so he's getting all the fucking Reddit gold he can. All right.
Epic Reddit points is just what he keeps on calling it. God, what a loser! I
wish I could make a counter, a counter for how many Reddit points that I have, and just like put it on the wall to keep track at all times. Like, wake up in the morning and it's like over my bed. You don't have like the projection alarm clock. It's like your Reddit points.
To make it real accurate, you've got to put it in a fucking Pip-Boy that you custom made and 3D printed, and also is like somehow part Funko Pop. That's the only way to really make it authentic.
I assume that Reddit is like those IO games that are actually just bots, and they make you feel like it's an online multiplayer game, but it's not. You're literally just fighting against bots, and I assume that that's how all of our online video games are gonna happen at some point. Like, it'll just be you versus bots, and you'll feel like you're doing really well because you're climbing the leaderboard. But they're just botting the games to get you to put hours into it. And it's really unfortunate that that's not the way that larger society is. Society is made up of real people who are dying of coronavirus. And it's also made up of real people who are throwing away goods to make sure that the price of the goods that they sell doesn't crash.
Yeah, very efficient system we have here.
I guess, for example, the Wisconsin farmers are dumping milk. That's a big one. Not just like the normal, like getting rid of like collector's items or Gibson crushing guitars or computer components, being just demolished regularly to maintain, the value of them on the market. Something. The Grapes of Wrath. There you go.
There you go.
All right. If you'll notice actually that there are actually lots of books written about this, and we learned nothing from them.
And we never will.
I'm sorry. Did everybody not have to read that book in English?
We read a separate piece, and it was very shitty.
I was forced to read 1984, and then all we did was talk about how bad government is.
Yep. That's what the book is. The whole takeaway. That's why it's taught in schools. Yeah. No. The intentional destruction of goods to not fuck up to make sure that the market is appeased above all else is. I mean, incredibly sick, and hopefully ends up in history books someday as a failing of our system. Or, if we have history books in the future, who knows?
Yeah, it's really weird that we continue to exist on the system that seemingly is operated on both a constant growth and eternal scarcity model. But then anytime anything mildly fucks that up, we all inherently suffer. Or I guess I shouldn't say we all. It's just everyone except the people at the very top. And that's considered the best possible way of operation because you might win a lottery to where then you might luck out to be in that fun little spot for a small, insufficient period of time. It also is the thing that's making airline miles and airline ticket pricing and everything else just be in this weird, hazy state of where, because the airlines got bailed out by a little bit, they're then still willing to institute a whole bunch of ridiculous fees for the people that are having to cancel tickets because there's a massive pandemic taking place, and no one seems to really care about that, or they think that that might be a larger problem. They think of it, oh, it's just airline being shitty, I guess, as opposed to this is a systemic symptom of a larger cause that is capitalism overall. It's not good.
Well, that's the thing. It's capitalist realism at its core. Is there a better way to do this? Nah, there couldn't be.
Well, and we're seeing that with the food bank, of where the problem for people unaware is that food banks are running out of food. There's a legitimate shortage of food of what's available to them, but it isn't because there isn't any food. It's the fact that the distribution is getting all fucked up because we're running on this bizarre hyper supply chain model of things, as opposed to allowing things like food banks and food pantries to have a wealth of resources and backup and support. Almost like maybe we shouldn't be relying on private institutions for this sort of a thing, or and having the government supplement it, but rather make sure that there's a guaranteed safety net of some kind
Go
to make
figure.
sure that millions and millions of people that get disaffected don't just crater economically and just personally.
I mean, yeah, not even economically, like just starve to death, basically,
Sorry. Yeah, I was thinking to just pure logistics.
Like, it can't be understated enough that, like, this is, like, not even, like, oh, shit, like, I guess, no iPhone, like, it's the most fundamental human needs of, hey, I need to fucking eat.
Yeah, it's not available to people. And there are lines to get to food banks that are miles and miles and miles long. And we're treating this like it's normal. There's people who say, oh, well, this is exactly what it's like underneath a socialist dictatorship. And that's what all of this is like. And that's just some of the most fucking boomer shit posting brain I think I've ever witnessed in my head.
Absolutely.
I've never heard an opinion just be so entirely wrong, of where, especially when you compare it to these quote unquote hell world socialist countries, they are all fucking doing okay. It's this bizarro photo reality.
Yet again, Vietnam wrecks our shit in every regard.
Exactly. Do you want to tell people, I guess, for those unaware of what all Vietnam is doing? Because that's amazing to me.
Oh, yeah, no, basically they've just, like, done the bare minimum, or, I mean, not the bare minimum necessarily, because Lord knows we keep fucking digging when we find the floor, but, like, yeah, they take care of people who are sick, they isolate them, they put them on quarantine and say, hey, we're gonna meet your essential needs while you're going through this, so you're not thinking, does my next paycheck clear while I'm stuck at home, or am I gonna get fucking shit canned because my company shut down and now I'm stuck working for nobody and starving to death in my home that I'm getting kicked out of.
Yeah,
Regular country we are.
exactly. And I think it kind of has reached a bit of a boiling point of an example with the hospital in Philadelphia that there was a completely empty hospital that a guy was basically just holding hostage because he didn't want to rent it out. And I mean, if we're going to be redistributing a whole bunch of hand sanitizer and face masks, we should be willing to redistribute a hospital. I think. I don't feel like that will be too edgy an issue that too many people will try and take me up on.
Yeah. Well, it's all those memes, it's oh, you think people hoarding masks and whatever is bad? Let me tell you about insulin or water.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Like Corona, the beer. We were going to talk about this in the intro, but we ended up just we got a lot of thoughts on a lot of things.
We got 5 minutes to slam into it.
Yeah.
We had to make a pedophile joke. Okay,
we gotta y'all. But anyway, yeah, not too long ago they were catching shit for essentially so Constellation Group is the like collection of brands that Corona is a part of, and they were essentially tapping the wells dry in the region of Mexico where they brew their beer, meaning that people who actually live and work there, all their water is being turned into beer and sent to be guzzled by dipshit Americans, like ourselves.
not even that's the one beer that's staying on our shelves. They're just being made to be made. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing now. Yeah, like now they're shutting down and fucking like it's really wild how all this just lays bare what a fucking house of cards we've been sitting on for so long.
Well, we as Americans,
in some good ways, but
we
as Americans, exactly.
Yeah, this is a norm in many other places when you don't have one of the world's largest militaries.
And that's the thing.
Back
Yeah,
things up.
we're sitting on the house of cards, and fucking people below it feel all the weight of it.
Well, and like, and it's so ridiculous. Not only capital in and of itself and the effects it has in the third world, but even here where we're supposed to have it the best because we've taken all the resources from everywhere else and we've concentrated them in our country. Literally, this hospital, it went bankrupt, and then the guy that owns it is not like renting it out because he has nothing better to do with the property. He's holding on to it to try to extract like millions of dollars from the fact that the deed to the property is in his name or whatever. Like, capital is so bad. Capitalism itself, the idea of capital like being all consuming,
the most reasonable, most logical way of sorting things out. I mean, in its own logic, totally, yeah. But that logic is antithetical to human life and life in general, which is, a good way to organize a society full of human lives.
Yeah, one person's bank account versus 500 lives. Let's do the math here.
Let's weigh it up, folks.
Any system that puts that one person's bank account is above the lives of those 500, I think we can just go ahead and say that's a bad system and work backwards from there. So.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and establish this now, that real estate developers should not have rights, and then build a society out from that. I mean, we all saw fucking Birds of Prey. Like, we all liked it, so there you go.
It is amazing to me, the capitalist death cult that exists, because there are people who just in the weirdest sense of and twist of fate, if you wanted to go full Alex voice for this moment from Minion Death Cult, you absolutely could, although I have a feeling that Minion Death Cult will have covered this by the time we're talking about it, so y'all should definitely listen to them. There is a woman whose Facebook post went viral because she was talking and explaining in a long post exactly how COVID-19 is a hoax and it's not real, and we need to put our faith in God, put our faith in our country, put our faith in Trump, and then that
We all know
bitch
where this ends
died.
up.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have a bottle of champagne right now, but if I
Imagine
did,
that.
man, I would be. It would be nutting all over my computer.
I mean, not to if Zach's going to be doing callbacks to the last episode, I guess I will too. In the sense that my immediate Alex Jones type of spin of it would be that exactly it's the people that realize that COVID-19 is a sham. Those are the voices that are being silenced among us. She was put down a dog by the Democrats.
The coronavirus, led to her suicide by 2 gunshots to the back of the head. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, that's one of the main symptoms that China was letting us know about. Yeah.
Man, I really wish I knew enough Mandarin to make a Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself joke in that language. Wait, let me fire up Google Translate and Duolingo real quick.
It's these people, though, that I don't have any way to get into their headspace because nothing makes sense to me in it. I can't figure out the internal logic of it, so I can't parody it exactly. I can't lampoon it. I can't do anything with it other than just think of it as absolute insanity to me, because it's these kinds of people that will also, if when you're trying to treat them like a post that popped up at least on Reddit, and I'm sure people have seen it on Facebook and other places, was of a health administrator, or I'm sorry, a nurse who was trying to put in an intubate with a ventilator for someone, and that person asked, "Well, who's going to be paying for this?" Like, that made me get completely black-pilled. Like it's time for convention stuff with masks and 3D printed guns now. I mean, there's no reasoning with these people. There's no ability to think that, I mean, if we appeal to their humanity and their empathy, this is going to finally be the thing that makes them realize it, because this is the example of where they should realize that they have been fucked over by a system, and they are bootlickers until they die. They're choking to death not only because of corona, but also because of the boot in their mouth. Like, I know that we are deciding as a society that Karen is a slur, but I think that that we can just expand the use of the word Karen to mean all of this.
That's kind of the thing. I mean, at least personally, I've always felt Karen kind of stands as a euphemism for, or a dog whistle for, even, is to say, well, yeah, it's to say, like, this person who, treats
it's a dog
workers
whistle
like
that
shit.
only, like, attracts managers.
No, the dog whistle that, like, people who have worked customer service here, like, it's like, obviously everybody imagines the fucking lady with that one haircut and the Olive Garden gift card or whatever. But what it is people who, they are fully bought into the system that says, like, hey, since you're paying the money, yeah, exactly. It's capitalist realism again at its core. So,
I mean, at the very least, though,
fucking kill all Karens. I don't know.
All of them, even our communist comrade in the Discord.
Like, sorry, yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. You don't want to run the risk of just boiling it down to, oh yeah, it's just this name or this
hashtag
whatever
not
it is.
all Karens.
Not all Karens. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a much deeper ideological issue of, like, hey, this is not a way to organize a civilization.
I mean, and that's exactly, I think, what happened, at least in the United States, though, right? Is that there's this idea of capitalism. So, thanks, Dutch East India Company. That's always fucking great. And then that merges with this American belief in manifest destiny and religious zealotry that we have. And we get this fucked up society. I mean, and that's no better evidence of that takes place than the fact that we have 14 states now who, even though they have stay-at-home orders, they're now deeming churches as essential because I guess God can't get in the germs. So life is fine. Life is cool.
The Father in Heaven's hand is going to reach down and shield this church, cover this church in his glory. He's going to
cover everybody's mouths.
He's going to cloak us in righteousness and truth, and the people will see that the Lord cannot touch us here in this holy place.
But who?
Yeah, the Lord can't touch you, but I mean, if the clergy's around, watch yourself.
I guess the thing that I want to emphasize is that it's not even that all churches want to be open. It's because individual churches still have the opportunity to decide to respect the stay-at-home order. Like the majority of Catholic churches are doing that. The majority, I believe, of synagogues and of mosques are doing that. But then you get these fuckers that exist like in Houston with Joel Osteen, where they have 16,000 people filling a stadium, and they're the ones that are pushing for this idea because it's
well,
like
yeah,
if
that's
you were
the
to
thing.
concert.
Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with like being religious or going to church, but when your fucking religious leader is, Joel Osteen, it's like, sort your shit out, reevaluate your fucking life, you just fucking moron. Jesus.
If there's going to be a dog whistle of any kind, it should be the one that lets people know that all of this shouldn't make sense to them. That at some point in time, maybe while you are taking a drink from the communion cup from the person that was really coughing right in front of you, and
it was like a wet cough too.
Exactly. And you're about to then go back to your job at the Senior Assistance Living Center, that maybe you would think that this individualistic exploitation that takes place isn't just so specific to just you and this one thing and this other thing and 1,000 little dots across the board, that it's an example of something larger overall that is broken.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
I guess fucking so.
You're not alone in being put down under the boot of capital. The life isn't an IO game. Life isn't botted.
Life.io.
Life.io. Discord is a place that we have. I mean, I assume Reddit is botted, so not Reddit. Twitter also, Facebook as well. So literally just the Discord, and maybe
solipsism,
and maybe
but
Twitch.
it's posting. Yeah.
Solipsism.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be encouraging any cult-like behavior, and that's why you can only trust us and no one else.
Don't talk to your relatives. Don't talk to your coworkers. Just form a parasocial relationship with this podcast and no other.
They will lie to you.
Definitely.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's dark times that we're living in, fellas. But
yep. You gotta find the silver linings, and then fucking take them from whoever's wearing them.
As usual, the third world is the only place that's going to suffer. Wait, what's that? You mean America is wildly mishandling the viral pandemic that's going to come crashing through our society and doesn't care how much money you have?
Yeah.
And the UK, don't forget Boris Johnson's hospitalized now, which, is either going to age very well or very poorly as a remark on my part.
All right, Bo, what's the over-under, huh? It's Sunday night right now. What's your Tuesday morning prediction?
I mean, so here's my take, right? Boris, like, he's, I don't know exactly what his health is looking like, but he's a thick man. He's got a large chest, so he's probably got some good old breathers in there. I think he's gonna be all right, unfortunately.
His Hooters.
His Hooters
are, his Hooters are just fine. His doctor's never seen a healthier pair of Hooters on someone.
Coronavirus is stored in the tit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's gonna, even with reduced lung capacity, his brain doesn't actually use that much oxygen. He's trained for years to be as efficient as he is with his oxygen, so he'll be fine with the reduced lung capacity.
I mean, I was going to say that he would be fine because he's a lizard person, and then I would move into someone else who I thought was a lizard person, but then I realized that could be construed as being anti-Semitic.
Well, you know what?
You can just say he's a piece of shit, like Boris Johnson, because they're both pieces of shit.
They all have reduced brain capacity, and they share this like reduced need for basic resources. Food, water, oxygen. All that they require is adrenochrome.
Yep. Yeah, harvested directly from biting into the necks of fetuses or something. I forget the exact conspiracy theory shit, but sure, whatever.
That would be a fun bonus episode for us to do, right? You know, just the three of us.
Just go full
Yeah,
QAnon.
no, the three of us. We all it is us just looking at that huge complicated graph, and then Bo, we would need you to roll a die, and it would tell us whether or not to go to the left side or the right side of the graph, and then we just map it out all the way through.
Yeah,
with no explanation, no reading, no context. We see what conclusions we come to.
yeah, because that's really what fucking podcasts need are visual graphs that you you follow along with.
No. We wouldn't tell people that we're doing this. I mean, come on now. That'd be revealing secrets. We have to make people think that we're coming up with this ridiculous QAnon conspiracy off the cuff. Okay?
Yeah.
That's our and muffle the sound of dice rolling every 3 to 4 seconds.
Well, I mean, as long as we're rolling dice, we fucking play that Illuminati card game. Which, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's great. And that's the episode.
Predicted 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you fucking go.
It's one of the few things Osama bin Laden had with him.
That and fucking Counter-Strike. So King, we can say it, King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We stand a king.
It's really weird to remember that Osama bin Laden, before he was a terrorist, he was like a bro. That's the weirdest part about it.
And the older I get, the more of a bro he is for being a terrorist.
Yeah, that's my bro. Osama, yeah, man. Sam is fucking wild. All right,
Bro, Osama, what's up, dude?
Oh God!
Y'all remember that show, Little Bush?
Yes.
Why did they make that?
Because liberals are bad. This is back when people thought that satire was so important for the political process.
And people still do think that, but it's just South Park fans.
Yeah. Yeah, they're see, everything is so important here. We have the Daily Show with John. We have the Colbert Report, which was actually better back then, right?
Truly the American dad to the Daily Show's Family Guy. Oh, man. That 2004 Stephen Colbert would have some things to say about 2020 Stephen Colbert.
You'd hope so.
Because it wasn't just a blatant act whatsoever.
It took them 6 years to figure out how much money it would require for him to finally break ranks.
How much money was that, Zach?
It was $2 and a hand job.
Wait. What quality of hand job is this that it was thrown in with $2?
Sloppy is the first word that comes to mind.
Sloppy doesn't seem to begin to... Fine.
I believe the term you're looking for is Slavy. It was a Slavy hand job.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean mediocre hand job, honestly. I don't think that it was a great hand job, and that's why it was also well, the hand job, I don't know, here's $2, go buy yourself some fucking M&Ms. He's okay, that's fair.
It's not about the hand job. It's about sending a message.
Yeah, he was very willing to go with just a hand job, but he didn't want it to sound like he was just doing it for just a hand job. Hand stuff is cool sometimes.
Hand jobs are a lot like liberalism. You think that it's going to be enough, but it never actually is. And it's always more disappointing than you could ever imagine.
Also, if you're not into it, you're scolded relentlessly by people with gold rings around their profile pictures. Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Yeah. So, I can't wait to get online and be called a prude cuck now.
Yeah, you're a prude cuck for not liking hand jobs. How could you?
Prude and a cuck.
Oh, can you imagine that actually should be the story of the grand communist revolution, but it's just told entirely through sex. So it's like a porn parody of the communist revolution. It's someone being like, we should not settle for mere hand jobs from our bosses. We should be trying to fill every hole. We deserve it. We are members of the working class. Listen, it's a thin enough premise, but like I'm pretty sure that
I'd watch it.
yeah, porn
I'd watch
studios
it,
have
yeah.
operated on far flimsier premises. So
Yeah, no, that's for sure the next.
Pornhub.com.
No.
Commie cunt. The revolution is coming.
Oh, no, don't
that's
tell me
sad.
No.
Oh, definitely don't post that in
Oh,
our
boy, oh,
Discord.
Wait. Pornhub does have an hour-long video that is the Communist Manifesto audiobook.
Listen, Pornhub, I almost might forgive you for regularly posting child porn, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot more than the communist... Oh, and you have state and revolution. Okay. All right. I see you.
And what is this? Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction read by Slavoj Žižek? Oh, well, I mean, consider you atoned. Yeah, Pornhub's actually awful. Let's make that incredibly clear here. Pornhub is bad for a lot of reasons. It's a bad website, folks.
Yeah, I am though looking forward to Kelton's rewrite of the Communist Manifesto as a porn parody.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for us as an episode. Now, you guys might be wondering, hey, what's happening? Why are you answering questions? What happened to the game? Well, and to that I say there is a very logical and reasonable explanation. But first, if you made it this far, you're a true comrade for sticking around. So shout out to all of our patrons, especially Scott for contributing to our dialectical tier, and Spencer, Ali, David, Lauren, and Drayton for contributing to our Devil's Advocate tier. Y'all are really helping keep the show plugging along as it is. Let us know also how you liked the latest Patreon exclusive episode, Queen of Dolphins. So, yeah, there's no questions this week. There's no game this week, as I mentioned before.
It's El Podcast Classico. I have poured a bunch of Classico spaghetti sauce into my gimp suit.
Sounds comfortable, yeah.
I want y'all to know. Look. I didn't just go to the store and buy a couple cans of Classico. This is my rations that I
Your reserve, yeah.
My reserves that I've poured into this podcast, literally, not figuratively, literally. I poured them into this podcast. I'm making a sacrifice for our listeners.
Thank you. I'm sure they appreciate that, yeah.
He's going without, so that way then others can enjoy this thing, bear the fruits of his labor, or vegetables of his labor, I guess, from this case. I don't know. Are tomatoes? Did we ever settle on that? Tomatoes, fruit, vegetable.
Tomatoes are whatever they fucking feel like. We're gonna let tomatoes figure themselves out.
Tomatoes are non-binary, much like 10% of our listeners.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't need to put a fucking label on tomatoes.
Oh no. All right, let's have woke boy discussions about tomatoes in our Discord. Let's also
way to reel that in.
Porn parodies, and let's get a script in development here. Yeah, that's really what we need.
Yeah, and hey, since there's nothing else happening, if you're listening to this, you have clearly nothing to do while you're self-quarantining. Listen to Kelton's Gigo show and also his sports show.
See, we have this amazing back and forth, ping pong players, of where then be sure to check out the streams happening on Tuesdays and Fridays on Twitch, and that's going to be happening at what time? It's that time I can't remember. The time that
I feel like it's the same time every week.
It's great at 8, folks. That's the new fucking slogan, the one that I just came up with. It's great at 8. It's God, that fucking sucks so bad. It has big 1970s energy. Like I don't need to try. Nobody's fucking,
Yeah,
it's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and what else comes out? I feel like there's something else weekly that gets posted to the Patreon exclusively for patrons. I feel like there's somebody that we meant to ping it to, but it didn't get ponged back.
But Bo is in the middle of getting a hand job now because he's a liberal. Is what's happening. So.
I'm so sorry. I'm just. Yeah, bonus episodes.
Jesus, wait to build it out a little bit there. Really sell people on.
Yeah,
on,
you already fucking mentioned
happening.
Bonus episodes. I figured you guys, we had it all.
We were gonna just let you. We were just gonna do it with the whole thing. So give us. Try again. Do another bonus episodes, but give us.
All right. Yes.
Do it. Die harder this time. Jesus.
Die hard
Well,
again.
we have bonus episodes coming out on the fucking Patreon. You should go get on our Patreon so you can fucking listen to the bonus episodes. It's not rocket surgery. Like, yeah.
And we are still suspending payments for April, so we know that it's a difficult time. So now is a great time to get on the ground floor, if you will, of Psychic Dolphin Garage and see just how bad our content really is, I guess. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, no one's listening here at this point. It's fine. To the few of you who are listening still at this point, we love you. We appreciate you. Apparently, Tom DeLonge saw a UFO off the California coast and recorded the whole thing, and none of us actually cared. So weird. Life is crazy. Deuces. Thanks for listening to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Check out our link tree in the show notes so you can join our Discord and subreddit and become a part of the community. Find our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Word of mouth is still the best way for us to bring this weird leftist show to as many people as we possibly can. So if you like the episode, please share it with someone, anyone. Just one other person at your school or office or parole hearing who you think might like what we do. We trust your judgment. Be sure to join us every week for Destiny Tuesdays on our Discord, the PDLR Fantasy Sports Show Thursdays on our YouTube channel, and Variety Game Night Fridays on Twitch. That just about covers it. All right, we love you. Bye.